What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Nick Williams Show. My name is Nick Williams. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer north of Boston. And before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with everybody you know. And if you have a filmmaker in mind that you'd like me to interview, put it in the comments down below. Joining me today is Mr. Chris Esper. Chris, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So you reached out to me a few months ago, and it's been a little bit of like trial and error to get you here.
Yeah.
Because we're distant.
Yes.
Living-wise.
Yeah.
Distant from each other. So you have been a filmmaker for quite some time.
Yeah, since I graduated from New England Tech, which I want to say was in 2012.
Okay.
So, I think I'm coming on 15 years, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've made a whole bunch of different shorts.
Yeah.
It's been kind of talked about recently on other podcasts that you're going to be getting into features and stuff, which is cool. What's your most recent short that you have made? What's the most recent film that you've made?
Okay, so
just a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
All right. So the most recent film that's now on the festival circuit is called Distant Memories, and that is about Alzheimer's disease and the idea. Well, the thing with films about Alzheimer's that I've always found is that they always do kind of the same thing where they are usually in the outside world, and it's always about the caregiver and how they're affected by the person. Not that they're not affected, but I was interested in exploring what is it like inside their head. What would that look like? Like, how would I interpret that? And me being a filmmaker, I interpret memories as being like almost like home movies where it's like a flashes of images or everything of your life just accumulated in this like collection, almost like you went to like I don't know, not so much like a garage, but it's like storage space, which literally that's what the mind is, a storage space of memories, a storage space of things and information, ideas and of thoughts and emotions, all these things. So I really want to convey that in the movie.
Sure.
With the main character inside her head and she's watching this stuff, like watching her life literally unfold in front of her, and then ultimately, well, we all know what happens with Alzheimer's. It all ultimately just sort of dissipates and disappears little by little or quickly even. The story came from two grandparents, one on each side of my family, having Alzheimer's, and it was horrendous to witness.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm just like thinking, I'm thinking like, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Like, what's their POV? So that's where the inspiration came from. And plus, you know, I'm a very visual driven filmmaker, so I try to use that as my thrust for making the film. So
as opposed to like dialogue.
Yeah. Like in the script when I wrote it, I made sure to never use the word Alzheimer's or dementia at all, and by any person, because I wanted the visuals to just say, okay, this is what she's suffering from.
Sure.
You know, because it would have been too easy to just say you have Alzheimer's, and it's like no. It's like I want to see it, and the audience can deduce what's happening, you know?
Oh, sure, yeah. Visual storytelling.
Right,
No,
exactly.
I think that's great, man.
Yeah. So that's the latest in terms of festivals, but I did just finish shooting, wrapping, and I'm in the tail end of editing a psychological thriller.
Oh, wow.
Actually, that was
short
film, yeah.
What's it called?
This one is called Michael Solace. It was actually written by Chris Salvi, who was on the show.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and it stars Justin Tebow, Diana Porter, Paul Noonan, and Chris has a small role in it. Oh, and John R. Smith Jr., who's a great actor out of Connecticut. We shot that in August, and now we're in the tail end of post-production. This story, very much unlike Distant Memories, but still similar in style, where it's very visual but more dialogue-driven. This one is about a screenwriter who is in a tug of war between his integrity as a writer and selling his soul, which I think every creative in the film industry right now is sort of going through that.
Sure.
And it's probably, I say this sort of unabashedly and not sarcastic at all. I think it's my angriest film I've made in terms of
Your angriest film?
Angriest. I say that because the industry today, it makes me angry.
Well, I love that. I want to know why.
It makes me angry
And
because
I want to hear about this film too, but I want to know why
sure,
the industry makes you angry.
the industry makes me angry because first of all, I especially the last few weeks with the advent of this AI actress Tilly Norwood,
Yes, we
and
can talk about that.
yes, and also this whole thing about this whole AI generated film and with a virtual director, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Mm,
So it's like nothing about it just makes sense. And I think what makes me angry about the industry are the shortcuts
mm-hmm,
that the industry is willing to take
mm-hmm.
to get a product out there, and thereby also cutting out the benefits of an actual performance and an actor. But not only that, interfering with their likeness, their voice, and for the actors to not even get compensation or to get any kind of royalties out of it.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you, Chris. I think those are all very good points. I'm reluctant to go down the compensation route only because for a lot of us right now, there's little to no compensation when it comes to films.
That's true.
Okay,
Yes.
so when people start talking about, well, everybody should be compensated for this stuff, a lot of people aren't being compensated currently, if that
Right.
makes sense. Now you're not wrong,
Right.
and later down the line, obviously the goal is to be able to, be full time filmmakers, right?
Yeah.
My issue with the AI thing is if it was any other form of art, if I was a sculptor or a painter, and I called I'm not any country, England. I mean, I don't care if I called an art house in Spain and
Mhm.
said make this painting, and then when it came here, I was showing it off that I made the painting, even if it was my idea and they
Right.
painted it. Okay, but they painted it. I already have issues with the fact that there are no like Oscars for lighting gaffers
Yeah.
or sound people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I have issues. I mean, they have sound design, I guess, but they don't have anybody. They don't. There's so many people in this industry currently that are not recognized,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, now we're just going to cut everybody out
Right.
and act like it was this one thing. I recently I went to New Hampshire Film Festival. I'm probably going to do a whole video on this because it was that impactful to me.
Mhm.
But I saw, they did this talk about the ethics of AI. Uh, Chris, I'd like to know your perspective. Um, why is AI being used in a creative way at all? Like, if we can make Avatar, if in 2005, I use this movie all the time because it's one of my favorites, but if in 2005 they made King Kong and it looked like a 50-foot ape climbing the top of the Empire State Building, it sells, it works, it looks like a real ape, a 50-foot tall ape, like
Sure.
it looks realistic. I mean, we can already do everything.
Yeah.
Like we can already make everything look like everything.
Yeah.
I don't really know what AI brings to the table when it comes to creative stuff other than faster, and it's not even cheaper. We're
It's
investing like
no.
trillions, hundreds
No.
of billions of dollars now are going into AI. Why is it not being used, Chris, in your opinion, for things like Alzheimer's research as opposed to taking jobs away from us?
Now, see, that's a fantastic question. I've been having this argument with so many folks in the comments section of different articles
Sure.
who don't seem to understand why why we're upset about this, why we're angry about this, and why this is so wrong on so many levels.
Mm,
So you make a great point about King Kong because I mean that was CGI,
right, right.
and like you could go back to 1991 with Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and that advent in Jurassic Park. We had all this stuff for 30 plus years.
Sure.
This is not. I mean, and listen, I'm not saying AI is the same as CGI. It's not.
No, 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 not at
Because
all.
like
But like what I mean is there's no need for
there's
AI.
no need for it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because CG is because I keep seeing people in the comments say, "Oh, it's the same thing as CGI." No, it's not. Because CGI requires an artist behind the computer to actually put in the work, to design everything, to get the physics right, the gravity right, everything. People shit on George Lucas for what he did to the prequel series.
Sure.
And believe me, I'm not a fan of the prequel series, but the artistry behind every design decision by those artists,
Yeah.
that was a lot of work, and people forget that. And it's not just simply writing in a prompt like an AI and saying generate this thing.
Mhm.
And because believe me, if I use ChatGPT to try to and I give it a prompt for an image, it always gets it wrong. There's someone has an extra finger or there's like
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like it's a developing technology, but it should not be in the creative realm. It should be more as a tool. Uh,
Yeah, someone said they asked a question when I was at this talk because they opened up to questions and answers afterward, and they said, everybody keeps saying it's a tool, but is it a tool or is it more of a partner? Because it is its own thing.
yeah.
Um, what I don't understand, and we don't have to go on AI too long if you don't
No,
want
yeah.
to, but I just like if you're a line producer and you're breaking down a script, okay, I can see how AI would help.
Yeah.
I could see that. Speed and like pre-pro stuff I could see.
Yes.
I just don't really understand other than like, well, it makes things go, it's makes things easier or it makes things more accessible to younger filmmakers. Like that doesn't
No.
work for me. Like
Mm-mm.
you're supposed to suffer. I don't know how to explain it. Like
No.
if you want to like do really well and be a master
Yeah.
craftsman, if you're a carpenter, like if everybody else builds furniture, if you like want to start making furniture
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else around you makes the furniture for you for 10,000 hours or whatever it is, you're not a professional carpenter. You've been around them.
Now, see, that's a great point, and this is
Like
and this is important too. I think if you are going to use AI film, I think it's important that you have some form of understanding of physical filmmaking. Do you understand lenses? Do you understand what each lens focal length does? Do you understand lighting? Do you understand photography? If you have those basic understandings, you can, in theory, maybe make something with it successfully. But when I keep hearing, oh, all these young filmmakers, they have a chance now, and like I heard someone, I saw someone on Facebook put something to the effect of like, this is awesome. A filmmaker can now be like an author and be the sole author of their piece and not have to worry about money and crew and actors and all that. I'm like, no, that's terrible.
well, no, and it's not like we're worried about money and crew anyway. The reason
No.
people worry about money is so that they can pay the crew.
Right.
And the reason they want the crew there is it's a collaborative effort.
Exactly.
Like we're all there,
Exactly.
like it's the composer on a film. Like that's their artwork, that they're like their piece of the art,
Yes.
and it's like
Yes.
all together under this
Yes.
thing to tell one story.
Yes. And I think what's going to happen is, I think just like when Avatar came out, there was a 3D craze for a couple of years and it sort of faded away.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is we're probably going to see one or two AI generated films or at least pieces or even characters. And I think what's going to happen is the audience is going to realize, okay, too much of one thing is no good, and Hollywood's going to see that, and then they're going to say, oh, okay, maybe we went too far. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I mean, they never seem to learn their lessons anyway. When
Right.
these things happen.
Right. Distant Memories.
Yes.
Your film. No AI was used, I'm assuming.
No, not at all. Actually, this goes back to. I mean, maybe it's just me being like uh maybe I'm too much of a purist, but like those scenes with the home movies, we didn't shoot those on digital. We shot those on Super 8 film and VHS,
I love it.
mini DV tape. And
That's how I got my start when I was when I was a kid.
Isn't it great?
I love it.
And that's the thing is like I think my cinematographer, I remember on that film, he when we were doing the one scene where the couple is dancing in their apartment, he was convinced we had to do all this lighting outside the windows and all that. I said no. It's like when people shot home movies, they just turned on the light. They didn't.
At your 6th birthday, you didn't go out with a gaffer outside the thing and set it all
Right.
up before you blew out the candles? Okay.
Yeah, so I was very insistent that we just shoot that with natural light, and we just do it on film and not shoot it digital and then put a filter on it later, because it's not the same. You could always tell.
You can't always tell.
So I was very adamant about that. So I'm glad I stuck to my guns with that.
Yeah, personally, I have seen the film, even though it's in festivals right now.
Mhm.
What is your plan for it after? So it's in festivals right now.
Yeah.
And what's the plan for the film after festivals?
Well, I love to show it to the Alzheimer's Association and raise some more awareness. And I think that's going back to AI a little bit, I think that's where stuff like AI could be used, like in the medical
Oh,
field.
explain. What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Oh, you mean like in Alzheimer's research?
yeah, Alzheimer's research, the
Okay.
medical field.
I thought you meant to help you distribute the film. I was like,
No,
oh, I'd love
no,
to
no,
hear
no,
this.
no, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think in the medical field especially, because I mean, there's research right now with AI that can detect early detection of breast cancer, from what I understand. So, I mean, I think in that way, if there's like an early detection of Alzheimer's, it could be used for research and perhaps prevent it or at least diminish the effects of it as you get older to where you could live comfortably. I mean, I don't know if there's a way to totally cure it. I doubt it. But I mean, if there's a way to sort of diminish the effects to live comfortably, I think that's where AI can be used very effectively, even. And in that field, you're not taking away jobs. If anything, that is an additive and not a subtractive.
Right.
In the film industry, it's becoming a subtractive, unfortunately, because you take away, you no longer need a cinematographer, you no longer even need a camera. It's like
Well, sure.
so I think that it's different because in the film industry, that, like you said, the collaboration is what's key.
Yep.
That's what makes the movie. So yeah, I plan on bringing the film to that arena and put it up online eventually. But I think more importantly, I want to use it to raise more awareness, but also to show, but of course also to show what I could do as a director. But I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I think that's most. I think that's paramount for me is raising awareness.
Let me ask you this: what made you want to make movies? Like, what was the thing that you saw where you're like, I can do this too?
Ah, I love that question.
Yeah, yeah. Because it
uh,
seems so like, for whatever reason. I mean, if you're driving down the street, just to set it up the right way,
sure.
if you're driving down the street and you see a house that's being built and you see all the construction guys all over the place, right?
Hmm.
You're like, I could get that job, right?
Yeah.
Not that it's not a difficult job. I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
like when you interact with people on a day-to-day basis, like you meet a doctor and you're like, I go to school, I go to med school, I can become a doctor.
Yeah.
Same with whatever else, any job. With film, it's very like there's like a huge separation between when the film gets made. Like you
Yeah.
don't walk into a theater and meet the director every time you go to a
No.
movie. So like what was the thing that where you realized that this was attainable for you as well?
So, it was sort of a build up. I mean, I think, well, first of all, when I was a young kid, I grew up in Jersey, and where I lived, diagonal from my house, there was a video store,
Oh, cool.
and so I went there all the time. I rented so many movies from there, and like, I can't say I rented great movies because I was a kid, but you know, I just kept consuming my mind with image after image after image and doing all this research. And this is the mid 90s, mind you,
Hmm.
when IMDb first sort of came into existence, and, with dial up internet and all that. So I was on IMDb for hours researching. And I think the first movie that made me aware people actually were behind movies was Ghostbusters, because it was the first movie I ever had on DVD.
Hmm.
And it was the first time I understood, oh wow, here's a making of documentary. Oh wow, there's a commentary. Oh wow, Howard Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, they wrote the script and they also starred in it. Wow, I didn't know you could do both. I thought you could only do one or the
Right,
other.
right, right, right.
So I thought, oh, interesting. So then that sent me down a path where when I was 10 years old, I wrote my own screenplay, and
That's incredible.
I sent it to Hollywood, to Columbia Pictures. I read I
I
read
love
I
that.
read some producer's name off the credits of Ghostbusters, and I
That's awesome.
and I sent it specifically to them. And I think I maybe addressed it wrong or something, or for the obvious fact that 10-year-olds can't get it unsolicited, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I didn't know any better, so it got sent back to me. But that didn't even deter me at all. Instead, it just made me want to keep going. And so,
Yeah, that's
uh,
interesting.
yeah, so it kind of started from that, and there was a while where I thought I wanted to be an actor, and I did acting in drama club in high school, and
Mm.
tried my hand at stand up comedy because I was a pretty big Robert Williams fan. I always liked his work,
He's amazing.
or like Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, dude.
Um,
Especially a kid from the 90s. How could you not? The Mask, I grew up on The
oh
Mask.
sure, yeah, I was
Yeah.
obsessed
Yeah, it's
with that
great.
movie. Um, and then I think, and I mean, I was always a movie buff, but then I think when I was in my teens and started watching more Turner Classic Movies and AMC, where they would play all these amazing films, and I started to realize that there was intention behind every decision in a movie.
Mhm.
I became particularly aware when I saw Raging Bull, and I was very impressed with the way Scorsese would articulate his choices of shots, composition, why he chose certain shots, what particular things meant, or his choices with editing. And I think when I saw that movie that I said, I want to do that the rest of my life.
Mm.
And it sent me down the path where I got a camera from when I was 18, I think, and I just started using it with Windows Movie Maker and learning how to edit, learning how to shoot, making movies by myself, basically.
Sure.
Where I would hit record, I go in front of the camera and I would perform the action. I would stop camera, do it again, and it was very strange because my family, they wouldn't understand what I was doing. They would.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
Oh, okay, okay. All
Yeah,
right, go ahead.
so they would all look at me. They're like, "What in the hell are you doing?"
Right.
They're like, "What?" And like, I was outside one time doing like sort of like a Charlie Chaplin like short, and I'm like in costume and all that. A neighbor passed by. They looked at me like I was like from another planet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but then I put the thing together. I show it to friends. I show it to family, and everyone was like, "You did that?" I'm like, "Yes." and
Right.
and I think it was one of my parents or both my parents. They just said, "Hey, you got talent, kid." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So then
That's cool.
that's kind of what inspired me to go ahead with it. And then yeah, from there it's just been kind of every film I just kind of you grow a few inches.
How many short? I mean, I feel like you sent me a lot of stuff
Oh yeah.
ahead of time, which I love. I love watching films. If you have films, send me your films. I'll watch your films, whether you're on the show or not. I'll watch your films. I love movies. It's my whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So, what? Why now? Do you want to go into features? Like, what was the thing where you're like, okay, I need to flip over. I need to start doing features and stuff like that. Like,
So,
what are you doing?
so I mean, look, I've been making short films for like 10, 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've hit that creative ceiling where it's, where I'm like, okay, I know I could handle a short. I know I could handle working with a crew of like, say, let's say 20, 30 people, whatever.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, I think I could. I think I not only do I have the, well, first of all, it's several things. I've worked on several features in different departments. Like, I was a DP on one. I've co-produced or and AD'd a feature. So I've worked on features, but I also felt like, okay, the reason I waited till now was several things. First of all, I'm someone that if I'm gonna go into something, I want to make sure that I have the right sensibilities and that I have the right understanding to know how to do this the best I could possibly do this without any kind of compromise in any way, shape, or form. Because I see so many filmmakers that they come out of film school, they jump right into a feature without getting their feet wet in understanding how to even make a short. Because a short is like, it's sort of like training for me.
Okay.
And and you also develop your style, you develop your sensibilities, and you develop an understanding as an artist. And that's not to say you can't come out of film school and make a feature. Of course you can. Plenty of people have done it very well. I just felt like, I think part of me is like, I want this to be so perfect, and I just wanted to
Oh,
like,
sure. Well, we can only talk about we can only live through our own experiences,
right.
right? So for you, if you need features, I mean, if you need shorts in order to train to make the feature, I say go for it, which is
Yeah,
great.
exactly. I
What
mean,
what is the feature? The base, not the whole plot, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
log line, tagline. Like, what is the idea of it behind it?
Okay, so I have two features that I have so far
Okay.
that I've wrote. One of them is another psychological thriller about a very lonely wedding videographer that films a wedding of a girl he's in love with
Oh my God,
since high school.
that's cool.
And he comes across something a little bit unsavory that the new husband does, that
Mm,
he captures on camera, and he's trying to prove it to her, but it sends him down a huge rabbit hole.
of
uh
course.
so sort of like that lonely man kind of movie, like Blowout, or like The Conversation, 1 Hour Photo, things like that.
Sure.
Because I'm very fascinated by those kind of characters
Hmm.
that have like a deep seated thing within them, and plus trauma, that sort of thing. I love exploring characters in a visual way, and I feel like this is a very visual way to do that, especially with me having also been a wedding videographer
Yeah,
at one time of my life.
I've done it. I feel a lot of us have done it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you discover. I just try to think, what's the worst thing that would happen to me if I were doing that, and that's probably the worst thing I could think of is probably that. Thankfully, it has not. But so that's one, and then I have another feature that's kind of a this one's very unusual, very surreal. Basically, a world where laughter is outlawed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so like especially nowadays with the whole Jimmy Kimmel controversy that recently happened.
Sure.
Uh, I mean, I had this idea since 2020, and I did write it. But I mean, um, basically about a character that's trying to enter that, try to get through the terrain of this world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's done so in a very visual way. Um, my main inspiration for that script was Clockwork Orange,
Okay, cool.
because that was also sort of a dystopian kind of story about a character trying to get through the terrain. And is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he, it's like, what is he? And I tried to do that here. It's like, who's really doing the right thing here, within the world of the story. So that's, yeah, those are two I have either partially written or I have drafts of currently.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and, uh, uh, yeah, so they're in various stages of writing. But I mean, for any new filmmakers watching, I would say, when you are writing, don't waste time. Don't noodle over it, because I've done that, where you noodle over every little nook and cranny until it's perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. It's just
Mm-hmm.
going to be a blueprint.
Right.
And I've gone, I've done the whole script coverage thing where you send your script to be analyzed and given feedback by a professional reader.
Yeah.
And while those are helpful, they're never going to understand your vision.
Well,
They're
right, because if you're well, not to cut you off, I'm
No,
sorry,
please go
but
ahead.
like if not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's a different occupation, I would say.
Yeah,
If you're gonna write a script and make a movie, the script should be a blueprint. And there are some people out there, filmmakers that are real, like Tarantino. I would say is like this. When he writes dialogue, every comma is there for a purpose,
sure.
right? And then you have someone like Chris Salvi, who uses it like, well, just say whatever you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
how about get the point across? If this sounds
Yeah.
better to you, go for it. Like that kind of deal.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am as a director too, where like the script is never a blue. I mean, that's only if I write it, because I don't trust myself as a writer. But
Right, right, right.
I mean, people tell me I'm a good writer, and I'm like, I accept that compliment as best I can. But
Well, sure, but my point is like if you're gonna like when you say you sent it to professional readers,
yeah,
which is great, and obviously like if you're brand new, there's purposes for that.
yeah,
There's reasons for doing that
sure,
makes sense. And I'm not knocking people that have that as their occupation, but you're not a novelist. You're a
right,
filmmaker. So it's like even if the script isn't 100% perfect or if there's a couple typos in there, no one down the line after the project is
yeah,
finished, no one's going to read the script
yeah.
anyway.
It's true. And well, I mean, to give you an example, on Distant Memories,
Mm,
the I had the actors try different lines that were not in the script.
sure.
I said, look, I didn't think of everything when writing this. So if you come up with an idea, please give it to me. I
Yeah.
am more than willing, because I want this to be so believable. Because too many writer directors, they're way too precious with their words. They're way too precious, where it's like you have to say it exactly as it's written,
Sure.
and you can't be like that, especially if an actor, if one or several actors come to you and say, I don't think I would say this, or this line doesn't make sense, you better listen and
Yeah.
accept that feedback,
Or have an answer for them.
or have an answer
Be
for
able
them.
to explain why you want it the way that you want it.
Yes. And if they feel like, and then, you could always compromise and say, okay, let's do a take as written. Now let's do a take
I do that every time.
your version.
Yeah.
And chances are I'm going to like that version when I go to edit.
Yeah, but even if you don't, like at least you have it. It's
Yeah.
always better to have the variety,
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
opinion. If it's possible. Obviously, if you're shooting on film, stuff gets more
Sure.
expensive,
Yeah.
like, that kind of stuff. But no, I totally agree. I think that's admirable actually. It's nice. It's good to have a lot of different takes,
Yeah.
on stuff,
Totally.
which is very helpful too.
Totally. Yeah. But I mean, well, I should also preface by saying when I was an intern out in California for a company,
Sure.
and I was a reader. I read, part of my job was reading screenplays that would come in, from different agencies. And and that did teach me a lot. But I mean, again, I'm not the writer. I wasn't the writer of those. So I couldn't have possibly have understood what their vision was when writing it.
Sure.
Um, and I mean, I think professional readers are great. They could be of good value, but I think they also have a certain lens that doesn't quite fit every single script. Their lens is, what's trending right now? What's on TikTok? What are people watching? Is this commercial? Is it not? Is it based on something? And I feel like when you're reading something, you have to turn those lenses completely off and just immerse yourself in the story as is.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, honestly. I think it's difficult too, not the argument they would make against that is that they're working for a major company that says you got to put this in there, you got to put this in there, or we can't
Sure.
make it. And I feel like that in conjunction with things like AI and all, it's just stripping the soul out of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to a time when, I mean, I personally, maybe I'm crazy, and I will. Fine, that's fine. I don't mind being a little crazy, but I just personally think that we're on the precipice of an indie renaissance when it comes to filmmaking and stuff like that. Because nobody, Chris, nobody likes movies anymore. They all are big corporate. I don't mean your movies. I mean the general public. One, they can't afford to go to the movies, and two, when they do go, it's like another, Superman 25.
Yeah.
It's like another IP that they've beat the crap out of.
It's
So
true. It's true. I went to go see with a friend. We went to go see Spinal Tap 2 because I love the first one.
sure.
And the movie aside, I spent $40 just between tickets and snacks and all that. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was worth seeing because the movie was pretty good, but I'm like,
But wouldn't it have been the same, if not better experience if the ticket was $10?
right, exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
and you'd probably, if you enjoy, see, here's the thing. This is what I like too. Like, I have friends who are like this, and nowadays I go, oh my God, you're crazy. But if you really like a movie back in the day, you would go, maybe you go with a friend, and then you go with like your girlfriend or your wife or your
Sure.
whatever, and then you go back again and bring like my dad loves movies. Like, I'll bring my dad to a movie,
Yeah.
and you go see the same movie 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like you go once, and if it was good, great, and maybe I'll wait for it to come out on streaming, whatever. But the theater going experience,
Yeah.
it like revolves around being affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to be able to go.
Well, that's a good point because I mean, if you think back to like, let's say E.T. for example,
Sure.
people went to go see that movie 3-4 times.
What about Star Wars?
And Star Wars too, exactly. So I mean, people went to go see that movie 3-4 times. Tickets back then were what? Not even $5, or they were
Yeah,
$5,
right.
something like that.
Right.
I mean, the last time anytime I see like low price tickets, it's usually like what was it like $10 Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah.
I forget.
I
But
think it's insane.
but even then, you're still spending a lot of money because between tickets and snacks and all that,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I still remember when I was a kid, what tickets were $5 to go into a movie.
I don't know why they're not. I think it would be fantastic. Like, I think the thing that Hollywood doesn't realize is they're more because they have so few films coming out, 6 films a year on
Yeah.
average now, as opposed to 50.
Yeah,
They have to like charge based on the price or the cost of production,
right.
right? Whereas if they had like 50 B movies that came out or whatever,
Mhm.
and maybe one of them will stand out because the crowd loves it.
Mhm.
But if they came out and did a press conference where they were like, yeah, every single theater moving forward, just so everybody's aware, from this day moving forward, we're doing a $5 movie ticket.
Yeah.
And change, like, they could just droves of people. They'd make
Yeah.
the same money because people would go back 2, 3, 4, 5 times to go
Yeah.
see stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know why they don't
I
understand
know,
that or
I
get
know.
that.
I would love to go back to the days of the double feature where you can
Oh yeah, dude, so cool. Go,
you
yeah.
can, they can even do an incentive where they say, okay, you could get this new Marvel movie to see, but you also have to see this little indie film
Mm-hmm.
side by side. Or even back in the days, they used to do the short subjects before the movie.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to get indie filmmakers out there, is that they've reintroduced the short subject again, where you get a short film before the main feature.
Yeah, why not?
Or like they would show like a cartoon beforehand. I mean, how many great animated films there are out there by indie filmmakers?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
I
just
don't
like-
understand why they don't do stuff like
You
that.
see some incredible artful stuff. I mean, from the I discover a lot of this stuff. When I watch, I say if because I don't really watch anymore, the Academy Awards, when they do,
Nobody watches anymore.
yeah, when they do like the animated short subjects or the live action short subjects, I end up watching those films after.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing stuff. How many people in the audience have even heard of them, though? Hardly
Right.
any, except for people maybe, in the industry. But why isn't there a general release for these films? I mean, that'd be great if they're like, they've shown before like the main feature. You get a little 20-minute film before the next Marvel movie or something.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Even if it played like, either right before or right after the previews or whatever,
Yeah.
people could be strolling in. Like I don't understand why they don't do it. And I don't know where one of the many missions that I am on is to kind of figure out where the person or people are that say no. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out like who's the decision maker there, because that's the person who's killing the industry.
Well, I mean, good luck finding them because there is like dozens of gatekeepers in the
Sure.
industry.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of anybody, Chris. Like that doesn't
No, I
bother me.
know. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like if I I don't know. I don't want to give away too much. But yeah, like I'll talk to anybody. I'll try. Like
Yeah.
I'll call anybody. I'll go out there and I'll fight for it because it's something I believe in. And I have
Yeah.
never obviously I've watched films, both industry film or studio, system films, and indie films that I'm not a fan of. Like that's normal because I'm a person with an
Sure.
opinion,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, just because I don't like something or just because I really love something doesn't mean that everyone else has to feel the same way.
Right.
But if no one ever gets the opportunity to see the product, they don't have the opportunity either to make that decision or that determination on their own.
Exactly.
So, there's thousands, if not millions, of actors in this country that are being that are put in indie films that will never get seen by anybody.
Right.
And they're fantastic.
Right.
There's tons of directors and writers out there whose work will never be seen. I find that to be not only disheartening, but like sad, like just kind of pathetic. Like it's like, really?
yeah.
Like we don't have that and people say like, oh, you can put stuff on YouTube, and it's like, okay, yes, you can. You're right, and I'm not downing that. I think everybody should at the very least put their stuff
Yeah.
on YouTube eventually.
Yeah.
Because it's so public. But that's not like why wouldn't we be able to put our stuff in theaters? I don't understand it. Like I don't really, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I also think too the whole argument, oh, just put on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with all that. We are so oversaturated with I hate the word content, but we're so oversaturated.
It's not wrong though, yeah.
We're so oversaturated with content. How is anyone going to find it unless you somehow got the magic algorithm, whatever the hell that is?
Yeah.
I don't even know, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't really understand it, but I mean, you make a good point too, because I'm going back to talking to the person responsible or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had self-published a book
Oh wow.
about filmmaking, well, specifically about my filmmaking journey. And people ask like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" They're like, "Oh, like you're not famous or whatever." I'm like, "No, that's the whole point, is that anyone could learn from anybody." And I just wanted to share things that I've learned over the years, whether it's like how to deal with clients or really horrible situations I've been in.
Sure.
And
Or really great situations. It doesn't have to always be
or
negative,
really great
right?
situation. Yeah, exactly. And so there's a famous bookstore that was in LA, Samuel French, which no longer there. But I've been there before and I loved it. They had so many great film and theater books. And I called them one day and I said, "Hey, do you guys take books on commission? If so, I'd love to have my book in your store." Because I've done this before. A lot of local shops carried my book for a while. And a lot of bookshops, they're very supportive of independent artists, authors, whatever. And the guy started asking me questions. And I felt like I was like in a interrogation room. Because
Yeah.
he said to me, "Okay, tell me more about yourself." I tell him. I made several short films by this point. This was in 2016, 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "Do you have a feature?" "No." "Are you developing a feature right now with a studio?" "No." "Are you in a big festival like Sundance?" "No." Why would I carry your book then?" I'm like, "What?"
Well, what does one have to do with the other? It's two different mediums.
Yeah, and then also he goes, "Well, I have plenty of books about making short films." I said, "No. This is not about making short films. It's about being a independent filmmaker. What does that mean in this
Yeah.
day and age?"
Yep.
And he goes, "I can't have a book by nobody."
Wow.
And I had an
It makes me want to throw up hearing that.
and
And I mean that with all due respect to
no,
you,
it's
obviously, but
fine.
about him. Like that just,
No,
it's like, it really like angers me. Like it really
yeah.
aggravates
So
me.
then we parted ways, hung up the phone. I sat at my desk for a good 10 minutes, saying and doing frozen. It was like
In shock, right?
it was like an existential crisis.
Yeah. Like but
I was like,
it doesn't make any
what just
sense.
happened?
It doesn't make any sense. Remember like back in the day, like in the 50s, not that we were around, but
Yeah, right. I wish.
when like when someone would make a song and then it would get played on the radio
Mhm.
and then it would blow up, but it started out as a local song. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
that's
what? Like
right. What
why?
happened to
Why
that?
not be the person? If you're the bookstore owner, if you're the if you're the theater, the local theater, why not be the person or the place that is the catalyst for your success? And then
Right.
for the rest of your life, as the bookstore owner or as the little theater person, now you can put a sign out front that says, "We made Chris Esper famous."
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Like why not? Why not be that
Yeah.
person? Why not be the hub?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And I think what really got me was I challenged him a little bit. I asked him a question, this person. I said, okay, isn't success, I mean, you're talking about, Sundance and all that. Isn't success what you make of it rather than a defined thing? And he said, no. I'm like, excuse me? What?
Right.
Because I mean, I mean, because I think
God, it's so frustrating, man.
I,
I'm so sorry that like
no,
that
it's
they even
fine.
that there are even people like that. It's so gross.
I know, and it's really made me really have to ask myself and define for myself, what does success mean in this business?
Mm,
Is it those superficial things of like winning an Oscar? Is it those superficial things of like getting the studio deal, having your name known, and having the movie poster up in the theater and people actually come into the theater?
right.
Or
Right.
is it that you've made the movie, good, bad, or indifferent? You've made the movie, you got it out there, people saw it, and you're proud of it. Is
Yeah.
that success? And like it really made me question what is success in this business, and I really wrestled with that for a long time. I still do from time to time, but I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, success is like, are you happy with the work? Do you feel good about it? Are you pleased with the work? And yes, it's also pleasing to get good reviews as I've been blessed to get, and I've also gotten bad ones too. I mean,
Yeah. Chris Salvi and I talked about this too. It's more. I think it's more about like, are people talking about it, good, bad, or
yes,
indifferent?
yes.
And if they're not talking about it, that's the problem.
I rather get, I think Chris even said this too. I rather get that wasn't good or I didn't like it versus,
Yeah, 100%,
yeah.
100%.
Or
Or
good.
like, oh, I never saw it or
Oh,
whatever.
you know what the
Yeah.
best is? You go to a film festival, and then your film plays. Good job. I hate when people just say good job, because that to me just means, okay, so you're not being straightforward with me, and you also just
Oh
thought,
yeah.
yeah, it was
That's
okay.
it's very LA, very Hollywood to say, what'd you think? Oh, it was great. It was great. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
great.
great.
Good.
Yeah,
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 good.
that,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's some movie. Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I something played on the screen.
right.
Like,
Something was moving on the screen. I looked at it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, what'd you like about it? It's great. Why was it great?
Yeah, I'd rather have a discussion about my work than versus like, oh, you liked it? Oh, great. It's like,
Sure.
like tell me.
Especially at festivals because they're other filmmakers.
Oh yeah,
So it's more frustrating when the average person who isn't, in this field of work goes, "That was really good. I love that movie, man. That was really cool."
yeah.
They don't always know how to
To
articulate.
articulate it, right?
Right.
And that's fair.
Sure, but they don't do this all the time. When you go to a
course
film
not.
festival
Yeah.
and you're watching other people's work and everything, and then they come up and they go, "Nice job. That was great." Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Okay, dude." I would rather someone come up and go, "Dude, what were you thinking? That was horrible."
Yeah.
I would be like, "What part of it was horrible?" I mean, it would make me laugh.
Yeah.
It would be like, "Okay, great."
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, the criticisms about my work. I grew up with a lot of criticism,
As
like
did I.
in my
Yeah.
house. So like, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't stifle me. It almost like drives me to keep doing better or
Yeah.
trying to do better,
Yeah.
And some people aren't like that. Some people take a lot of offense to criticism, but I don't
Yeah.
think that if you're going to be in an artistic field, you should be able to take
Yeah, I mean,
criticism.
listen, it is gonna sting regardless. It happens, but I mean, it's those things that make you stronger. It's those things that make you a better artist. I think.
Sure.
I think had it not been for the criticism, but I wouldn't have known to address them. I would have been still making movies the same way I was making in 2012, for all I
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
So I mean, it's good to it's good to fail a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
along the way. I think I love to hear more stories about filmmakers, directors, any artist really. I like to hear more about their failures than I do successes
Mm-hmm.
because that is what identifies you with them versus like a glossy success story without any bumps in the road, and that's impossible.
What would you say regarding filmmaking? What would you say has been your biggest failure so far?
Uh, film like a film I made, or you mean just
In
like
general, like what was the time where you were like,
I
"Ah,
think
I screwed that one up."
Well, I think well, okay, so my very first film, I didn't get the sound right.
Oh,
I
okay.
I didn't pay attention to sound.
Isn't it funny how important sound is?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. So I didn't pay attention to sound when location scouting. I didn't consider, oh, that's way too noisy.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, the first day of shooting, we get to the set, there's a construction thing going on next door, and and there wasn't 5 days before when I confirmed the location. So I'm like, shit, what are we gonna do?
Right.
And I shot it anyway. And I
Mhm.
should have known better to either just wait or do it, wait till it all stops or, come back another time or ADR it, even though you don't want to do that either. But I should have had the foresight to, but I think on a more important note, I think also I made mistakes with understanding how to direct actors, you know.
Interesting. That's a good point. That's a
Yeah,
good
at least when I was very, very young, I didn't really understand um
that they're people too.
Yeah, but also the questions that they would ask me. There's this one actor I worked with who's sadly no longer with us. He was a great guy. Um, it was my first film. We're on the set, and I gave him a direction where I want him to, I want a piece of blocking. I said, I want you to move on the other side of the room or whatever and pick up this picture. And he goes, "Why would I do that?" I didn't understand what he meant. My first inclination was to say, I wrote that in the script.
Because I'm telling you to do it.
but but
Why would
that
I do that? Because I'm the director. That's why you should do it. That's
well, I
funny.
didn't quite say that. I just
No, no, but you know what I mean.
I just asked. Well, I said, well, what do you mean?
Hmm.
And I didn't quite understand that question. But going on, I think maybe 2 years after that, it's when it just like a light bulb went off. I'm like, that's what he meant.
Interesting.
And so I think it's that I think it's those couple of things, and just like the basic things like shot selection, like, oh, that's not an interesting angle, like, so things like that. So I think my biggest mistakes were just like getting through those hurdles,
Hmm.
and
Growing, learning.
growing, learning. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And I'm the kind of learner that I learn better by doing than I do reading, or
Oh, same.
yeah, I've always
Yeah.
been more of a doer than more of a a listener or listener or watcher. Like, I have to physically do it,
Hmm.
and I'm the kind of person that likes to know everything about everything, and like I know I'm never gonna be an expert at every single aspect of filmmaking, but I like to at least know enough where I'm like I can communicate and say nope, not acceptable,
Right.
or perfect.
Right, right, right. That's great. No, I like that a lot. Okay. So, moving forward, what are your goals that you have besides making a feature?
Mhm.
Like, what are your goals as a filmmaker generally for the rest of your career?
Well,
Are you going to try and make movies the rest of your life? Like, what's
yeah,
your
I would like to. I mean, right now my day job is working in TV. I
Mhm.
work for A&E Networks.
Oh, nice.
I'm an assistant editor, so I work in reality TV. Like right now, uh, I was on the reboot of Dance Moms season one.
Nice.
That's now on Hulu. I've done a few comedy specials for Netflix and HBO. So I mean, I'm very lucky to be working in the industry as an independent filmmaker because
Sure.
not many get to do that. So I feel very blessed that I am in that position. But I would rather be directing, be making movies, and I guess my goal as a filmmaker is not even necessarily to make it, but these days for me it's just to like sustain a living where I can make a feature film, make some money, and then get funding to make the next one and the next one. So basically living comfortably where I can make movies independently and somehow still get them out there to an audience, whether it's theatrically or streaming, whatever. I mean, I'd rather do theatrically because I love the theater experience, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if the opportunity comes, great. But I mean, if it doesn't, that's okay. I mean, just as long as I'm able to sustain an occupation where I can do that year after year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. That's good. I like that. What do you think about the Boston or this, the New England film scene growing? How do you?
I love the New England film scene. I mean, there's so many great artists out here who you know, that you don't always get to see necessarily. And there's even some up and comers that sneak in. I'll see a great film at a festival, say like the Shaun Shea Festival,
Yeah, great festival.
a great festival, or the Mass Indie Fest, also run by Skip Shea,
Sure.
or even I'm drawing a blank on festival names right now, but
No, that's okay.
you see just so many great I mean, so many great films at these festivals, and you're like, how come I never heard of you? you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you want to know more. So I mean, I think there's a lot of great artisans out there and great actors and filmmakers, cinematographers. And what's cool is, like, a lot of big shows come into town, and you'll see some of these folks on those sets working, whether it's as a grip and electric or things of that nature. So I mean, I think it's a great scene.
Okay, so Michael Solis.
Yes.
What's the tagline for this again?
So Michael Solis is a story about a screenwriter that battles keeping his integrity as a writer or selling his soul to the devil for fame, fortune, money, and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's something that we could all relate to. Chris Salvi wrote the script, and someone else was going to direct it at first, and I think the director tried to raise money for it. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but he just didn't get around to it. And Salvi approached me and said, would I like to do it? Because I was looking for a new project by that point. I had finished Distant Memories, and I had several short scripts laying around, some of which are very ambitious, and I thought there's no way I could get the money for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
So then Chris showed me the script, and it just spoke to me like unbelievably. And I mean, it has the same style that I'm into. Chris and I are both into very surrealistic storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that is a little outside the box, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we
Um,
should talk about Undertaker too.
oh yeah, yeah,
But
because
after this, go
he
ahead.
also wrote Undertaker, so
Yeah.
then so he understands my style. And so it just felt like something. It felt like when I read it, I said, okay, this feels like something I would watch. And B, it feels like something I would write. So those two things are what spoke to me. I said, okay, I could conceivably see myself doing this. And yeah, we went forward with it, and
Mm-hmm.
shot it in August, and now we're in the tail end of post production.
So Chris made something similar to this.
Yes.
About a screenwriter.
Oh yes, yes. The last
Um,
page. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Which
And so
which I,
and
which
s-
which I was a cinematographer and editor on.
oh, really? I watched it. I
Yes.
loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was
It was
very,
fun.
very well done. I liked it a lot. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I thought it was great.
yeah.
I know we just said we hate when people are like, oh, it was great, and then we're like, oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. But no, it was. It was shot really well.
Oh, thank you.
And I loved. There was a lot of I understood it immediately. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got where he was going with it, and the
yeah.
cinematography was awesome too. I
Oh,
loved it.
thank you. Yeah, that was fun to shoot. And
So is this another short that's similar to that one?
it, Michael Solis.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly similar. I mean, at least story wise, it is. But Chris's is more lyrical, I would say.
Okay.
It was more uh methodical, I would say. That this one is more of like a thriller. Like there's
I see.
a little more faster paced. There's uh a lot of weird imagery in it that goes into other realms of another reality even.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so it's different in that way, but the sensibility is kind of the same. And Chris didn't want to direct it because he thought about it for a while, but then he felt like it was too similar, and he
Mm-hmm.
just didn't want to repeat himself, which I don't blame him. So then, that's how it fell into my lap. But I'm glad it did because I mean, I like to try to change up a little bit, film to film, and try different things out. So it worked out really well.
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Do you edit every piece that you direct?
most of the time. Yeah.
Now you said you have been a cinematographer for other pieces as well.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, I find sometimes that when cinematographers, and I can say this because you've done both the cinematography and the directing for
Uh,
things, but I find that sometimes it's better when the director is the editor as well, as opposed
yes.
to when the cinematographer is the editor. I find that sometimes when a cinematographer is the editor for something, because they spent a lot of time trying to get the right shot,
Yes.
they'll include a lot of the shots,
Oh, yeah.
whether or not they
Been there, done that.
right, whether or not it works for the edit.
Yep.
They're like, we spent so much time, we need to get this in there.
I know, it's true.
But when the
It's
director is the editor, they can kind of craft the piece that they were trying to,
Yeah,
you know?
I've often said it, but I think editing is my favorite part of the filmmaking process because it's the time where less can go wrong. I can sit in my little edit bay and I can craft my story. I could sculpt it and shape it. I could put this shot here. I could do this or I could do that. And it's a time, and it feels like writing for me.
Sure.
Because it's the last chance you have to save the movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
So,
true.
or make it better. I don't know, but I mean, or even cover, and plus as a director, you understand how to cover your blunders if you if you
Yeah,
mess up on the set.
that's
So,
true.
so I feel like in that way, it is. I think it's good to be an editing director in that. You know how to shoot for the edit. You know what kind of coverage you need, and sometimes you could go into an edit. I went to the edit for Michael Salas. There was one key sequence where I thought I need more footage. I don't have enough. So I went to back to location. I got additional footage. I cut it in. Oh, it was a whole other animal.
Yeah, that's great.
And sometimes it's great to discover those things. I'm like, oh, I need this insert shot that I didn't have before. So yeah, and those things are fun to sort of sculpt it and shape it and try different things. So no, I completely agree that a good director should also have an understanding of editing,
Hmm.
as well as shot composition. But I personally, I don't think as a director you should also be your own cinematographer.
Okay.
I mean, people do it; they do it really well, but
Sure, sure.
I have a hard time with that because my brain, I can only divert my attention so much. I rather divert my attention to the actors and to the story and let someone else handle the photography and be my other eye, as it were.
Hmm.
Um, I do a lot of my directing in the rehearsal period, and then I sit by the camera and I watch. I never go by Video Village. I mean, it depends
Right.
on the shot.
Sure, sure.
Um,
That's great. What
yeah.
advice would you have to someone who is thinking about whether they're young and, deciding whether or not this is something that they want to do, especially in this area? I like to keep everything as local as possible.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether they're young or if whether they have been thinking about it, they're 30 or whatever, and they want to
Mhm.
get into filmmaking in some respects. Like, what's your advice to people who are just starting out?
Oh, sure. So, I mean, first of all, I I don't want to hear ever again from anybody, "Oh, I'm too old to get into the industry." You can do it. Doesn't matter what age you are.
Hmm.
Anyone can make a movie. I mean, the camera's literally in your pocket.
Right,
I
right.
mean, and there are plenty of films that have been shot on an iPhone and look really good actually. But I encourage anyone to pick up that little camera and start making something, even if it's just like a little experimental piece where you don't even need actors. You could just do visuals of a leaves on a tree, nature, and cut it together into like a little piece and understand pacing, understand editing. As far as actors go, if you wanted to work with actors and do that kind of thing, I mean, go online to, I say like any of the Facebook groups, LinkedIn,
Backstage.
backstage. Yeah, exactly. You can post a casting call very easily on any of those resources and guarantee you will get people that submit their headshots and resumes. It's a lot easier now than it was when I started,
Yeah,
where there wasn't as many resources,
right,
and finding actors was difficult back then.
right.
But there's also community theaters. You could see a great play at a community theater and discover actors there, and
Hmm.
they would love to do film.
Right,
I mean, a lot of the actors I work with, they double in doing theater as well as film. So I'm, definitely not impossible to
sure.
find actors there. Um, but I think when you're starting out, you should start by making movies by yourself to understand shot composition and to, really dig deep and learn this stuff.
Sure.
And like really understand the craft of editing and pacing and, capturing clean audio. And then, when you grow a few inches, you can hire other people to do these things. But I think it's important to have a basis, a foundation to know, uh, to know these things. And I forget who said it. There's like this thing called like 4 stages of competency, where it's like, first you're unconsciously incompetent, where when you start something, you don't realize that you're not good at it yet.
Hmm.
And then suddenly when you do it more, you realize, oh, now I'm consciously incompetent, where it's like, oh, now I know I need to get better at this. Then soon you become consciously competent, where it's like, okay, I understand this now. And soon you become unconsciously competent, where it's like,
Expert level.
yep,
It's just
you
second
you
nature.
you put in your 10,000 hours,
Right,
as they
right,
say.
right, right.
So, I mean, I think it's important to go through those 4 stages of growth and learning to understand, how to make movies. But I think, don't be afraid to fail. That's another piece of advice. And allow yourself to fail. Embrace it.
Yeah, be excited about it.
Yeah, and submit your stuff to everywhere you can. I submitted my
So my next thing I was going to ask you
Yep.
is more about like, well, festivals
Yes,
specifically.
please.
But like you've found some success with festivals.
I did. Yeah.
And what is your advice for other people if they want to find success with festivals? I'm not a big festival guy personally because
Yeah.
I'm festivals are they're a point they're a checkpoint in the marathon, but they're
Yes.
not the end, right?
Yes.
And if we're trying to like I would say the average consumer of films that is not in the industry doesn't care necessarily about
That's
festivals,
true.
right?
Yes.
They'll watch a movie in a theater or on streaming, and then they'll
Mhm.
tell you whether or not it's a good movie.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that even big studio films still go to festivals
Yeah.
from time to time. So it's one of those things where what are your thoughts on festivals in general, and if you've had success, how did you have success?
I do love festivals. I mean, I think just like, we talked about earlier, YouTube and streaming and all that. I think the problem has become there's now an oversaturation of festivals as well.
Okay,
You go on
why do you
film.
think that is?
Well, you go on Film Freeway. First of all, it's accessibility. I think once people once the independent boom kind of happened, I think more festivals started to come out where someone was like, "Oh, I want to start a festival that's not like Sundance, where I will accept indie filmmakers." And I think it just continued to grow and grow and grow. And then with the advent of first, it was without a box, but that was the festival submission format before Film Freeway was a thing, and that was connected to IMDb, where when you submitted your film to a festival through Without a Box, you would get an IMDb listing, something like that. But now anyone can make an IMDb, but that's neither here nor there. And then with Film Freeway, suddenly you get festivals like the Southampton Local Independent Film Fest. And it's not that those festivals don't have merit, they do, and you need to start somewhere. Um, but I also think there's a lot of them out there that where there's few where you will find. But again, I guess you got to define success in like what's successful for you for a festival. Is it winning an award at a small festival? Is it getting some kind of distribution deal, representation out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it getting into the likes of Sundance or South by Southwest, which are very difficult? It's like getting into Harvard. So,
Sure, sure.
um, and I admire those that have tried submitting to Sundance. I tried submitting to Sundance, and
I have too.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and I mean,
almost for superstitious reasons, like here, like you know what I
yeah,
mean. Take the money.
yeah, and I mean, I don't pretend that I knew I was gonna get in. I had no pretensions about that. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. But and I think everyone should try, but I think the reality of it is a lot of those big festivals, they have sort of preconceived notions or selections already in mind, whether it's like from a studio that has a slot already in the festival, or there's a big name actor in this piece, or the producers or filmmaker know someone that's on the judging panel. There's a lot of that, and it is kind of a political game in that way, at least on that level. But I think festivals like Mass Indie Fest, Shawn O'Shea, the Scene Festival, well, it's not around anymore, but it's or even like New Hampshire Film Festival. I think those have a lot of value because that's where you can meet collaborators. That's where you can meet other like-minded people. You may not get the distribution deal. You may not even get an award, but the success will come in people seeing your film and reacting to it,
Hmm.
good, bad, or indifferent, like we said. Um, I think for me, at least with Distant Memories, the success there for me was seeing people react to Sissy O'Hara's performance because she was absolutely outstanding, and I was so happy to see her get the recognition that she got from the audience. Even if the film didn't win an award, I was happy to see people say, "Wow, you she nailed it," or the film captured Alzheimer's to a T.
Mm.
I think those things are successful for me. I mean, I always feel glad when I win an award, and of course when you don't, of course it's a little disappointing, of course. But I mean, why do you get into this then? Do you get into this to win awards, or do you get into it because you want to have something to say?
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying with it,
And I
right?
had something to say with my
Yeah,
film.
yeah. I love that. I love that you had something to say. Yeah, and you can only. I mean, the only guarantee of failure is by having something to say and then not saying it.
Exactly.
Like, so if you have something to
Exactly.
say and you have a story to tell, you should
The
tell it.
failure is not making the film that you set out to make, or like, saying you're gonna do something, you don't do it, or you don't finish it.
Right.
I think that's failure for me, is like
Yeah.
starting something, not finishing it. And in that case, I've had one or two films I started, they didn't get finished. So that's where I probably failed, you know?
Sure. Sure. Right. Well, and it's a learning curve as well
Yeah,
over
exactly.
time. No, I think that's great. Um,
But no, I think festivals are great. They're a great asset. And I say oversaturation not as a criticism, but I just think that there's so many out there that you have to really be selective as to which ones are going to be the best value for yourself, for your film, and you really got to select them carefully. Because there's a lot of festivals. I'm sorry, go ahead. You were gonna
no,
say,
no, just on that point specifically, how do you I mean, you've been making films now for 15 years.
yeah.
So what's your process when selecting
hmm
festivals to try and get into?
I look for several things. I look for how long have they been around.
Hmm.
If they've been around for 5+ years, I'm like, okay, they have something there, or even 10+ years, whatever. That's not to say the 1 to 2 year festival you can't do that. I'm just looking at what has value in name and mission. And I listen, Distant Memories got into a first year festival, and I submitted to that one because I supported their mission. Because the festival curator reached out to me and said, oh, he found me on LinkedIn and said, oh, do you have a film or know any filmmakers that want to submit to our festival? And I read it. I'm like, okay, I like where this is coming from. I want to support this person. I want to support their festival.
Sure.
So because at the end of the day, you're paying money to submit,
Yeah, it's true.
and so you got to think about the dollar, but you also got to think about what's going to be the value for your film and for yourself as an artist. And also if you're an alumni, I think that helps too. Uh,
Okay.
for example, I submitted to Rock the Shorts Festival in Los Angeles, so they are fantastic, and they support filmmakers. They are super friendly. They're very communicative. Oh, and also Austin Revolution Festival in Texas, another fantastic one,
Hmm.
because they are all about the artistry, the filmmaker. They interview you. They promote every film. So I mean, I think it's festivals like those that I gravitate towards. The ones I know are going to pay attention and are actually going to watch it, and
Hmm.
not just
And that takes trial and error.
yeah, exactly. And I find myself going to the same repeat ones a lot, and which I mean is both good and bad. It's good in that it's trusted, but it's also bad in that I need to expand my horizons more.
Sure. But
But
what are some festivals that you would recommend going to, regardless of whether or not you've submitted? Obviously, people should go to film festivals,
uh
but like around here.
yeah, sure. So I mean, New Hampshire Film Festival is one.
Hmm.
Oh, there's all I have to point this out.
Go.
So
Yeah.
I'm a judge, or I'm one of the voting members of the jury for, and a board member for the Lois Weber Film Festival
Wow. Okay. Nice.
with Gabrielle Rawson, Katie Kalari, bunch of Paul Noonan, and a bunch of others. our mission with this festival is specifically for female filmmakers.
Okay.
And you know, we select films specifically directed by a woman or produced by a woman. And this came from the fact that Gabby made a film called She Who Dared, which I was a cinematographer of. That film was about the silent film director Lois Weber, who was a trailblazer in the silent era.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a lot of innovative things as a filmmaker that no one was doing at the time. Um, Especially with her being a female, she was ostracized a lot for that. And so sadly, she's not in a lot of the history books,
Right.
as she should be. So we made a film about her, and Gabby is endeavoring now to do a feature film version of her story.
Wow.
But the festival came from that. So we all gathered together, the crew of that film, and we said, you know, how would we all feel if we did a festival that was in her name, that supported independent female filmmakers? And that's so I'm very well aware of how the judging process works and
Sure.
what goes into it. So in being a judge in the most recent year, I learned a lot from that. So, you know, the bit of nepotism there, but any filmmaker, any female filmmaker out there, I definitely recommend submitting to us.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Woods Hole in the Cape, which is very good. Rhode Island International Film Festival is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of great films play there. Um, Again, Shauna Shea, Mass Indie Fest, and I feel like I'm missing one that's very important. But yeah, off the top of my head, those few are excellent festivals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you making the drive up.
Sure.
Where can people follow you and beg you to vote for their film?
So my website is storiesmotion.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under Stories in Motion, or Chris Esper. And there you can see all my work and keep updated on the things I'm doing, and any upcoming projects.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris Esper, thank you so much. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck to you in the future, and I hope to work with you soon.
Oh, likewise.
I think that'd be great. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram and obviously here on YouTube, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.